Hello, welcome to Nail and Notch. I'm Evan. This video series is all about installing a slop sink in the garage. Today's video, we're going to talk waste piping, which is everyone's favorite topic, I know. But we'll talk about how it's run, some code implications, things like that. If you are just joining us, I have a few other videos about plumbing piping, about the demo of this wall, as well as some design ideas. Take a look in the description. I've included all those videos. They're great. Check them out. But for now, let's talk waste piping. So this is the waste pipe that we're tying into. Here's our PEX lines. I want my waste to kind of come up. It could go over here, could go over here. There's a lot of options really where it goes. That P-trap gives us a lot of flexibility. I can have 6 inches either side of center. Center is about here. So I'm going to come through about there. Okay. Here's my very wet ABS pipe that I'm connecting to. So this is a 3-inch by 2-inch T. It has this big sweep here. This is, I want my waste to come down here and go along. So I'm going to put this in like this. Okay? I'm not doing the rest of the waste piping tonight, mainly because it's 11 o'clock at night and I don't really want to. That being said, if I tie into this waste pipe, sewage fumes could come out since I don't have a trap on it. So what I have, they sell these at Home Depot, they're amazing. It's a little plug with a screw on it. It's actually meant to fit in a 2-inch pipe. I'm putting it in a 2-inch hub. Just shove it down there, twist it up a little bit. That's going to keep the sewer gases out, especially because this pipe right here goes upstairs to my master bath, which has a toilet in it. And so this pipe might be a little smelly. So we're going to tie it in right about here. Okay. So next thing we need to look at, where do I actually want to cut this thing? My pipe is going to come in to here. I want to just make a little mark. My pipe's going to come into here. Probably not going to get quite that far on it, but that's about where I want it. And this pipe is already slotted in. It's been here since before I bought the house. So I really don't want to move around this pipe very much. So I'm just going to make a couple marks. You can do this with a pencil too. I found a pencil is really hard to mark on ABS. So I'm going to go there to there. That's where I'm going to make that cut. So, measure twice, cut once. I'm not measuring, I'm guesstimating. I'm going to put this up one more time. Say, okay, does it line up to where I want it to line up? It does. Lines up, actually lines up pretty much right to that thing, but a little twist either way should be fine. I like where that sits. I like that it's pretty centered. Like I said, these come out pretty much in the center, a little bit to the left. So if I come off just to the left if I'm looking at it, but if I come off right in here, I'm going to have a pretty good spot to pull my P-trap off. So, alright, like I said, sewage pipe has human waste going down it. So, what are we going to do? We're going to wear gloves. I flushed the toilet upstairs multiple times in the hopes that everything has cleared out nicely, but you never know what you're going to get, unfortunately. This is the one part of plumbing projects I hate, is cutting into old waste lines. So, probably can't quite see it, but I am putting a bucket underneath this just in case we get anything that falls out. And then lastly, I'm actually going to put on a respirator because the smell coming out of sewage pipes is disgusting. So, we'll go over what I'm doing here in a sec. So I'm just going to show you here, this is what the inside of a waste pipe looks like. It actually is not that bad given, what it carries every day, but not horrific. Definitely some stuff, but okay. So I have fresh gloves and I have this little tool called the deburring tool. This is about $10 at Husky. I think that's Home Depot. Basically, it's a little blade that's on a little angle here, and I can go around the edge of this and I can take off all of this stuff that's going to get in the way. So when we look at this, as waste comes down the pipe, if it gets stuck on this stuff, it's just going to make a clog in my pipe. So I need to make sure that all inside and outside of my pipe is smooth. So that's what we're going to do with this little deburring tool. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to glue this piece in. So like we talked about before, that looks like it's pretty well cut in terms of how that's going to fit there. It's going to go down a little bit on each side. I have a little wiggle room with this one to get it in. Hard part here, so I don't have a ton of room to get both sides on at once. So I'm going to pop this side on. I think I have enough that I can do this side and then that side. That's the hope. Now, ABS cement. When you get your tub of ABS cement, read the directions, read the precautions. You'll see, I'm going to talk you through what we're going to do, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do because I'm going to wear a respirator because this stuff is terrible for you. It will give you brain damage. Don't not wear a mask. If there's one time you wear a mask during this project, wear it when you're using the ABS cement. So, how this works, we're going to take a big glob of this. We're going to wrap it around this side, or actually, we're going to start over here. Wrap it around the outside of the pipe. Then we're going to take the brush, we're going to wrap it around the inside of the pipe. Then we're going to take the brush and we're going to wrap it around the outside of the pipe one more time. And then we're going to shove it all together, hold it for 10-ish seconds, and then we're good to go. Okay? Then we'll do the same thing with this side. ABS cement dries pretty much immediately. So we want to make sure that this is straight up and down when we put it in. Second thing, it's going to tell you to twist it a little bit when you put it on. I don't think there's any way to get a piece of ABS to get a 3-inch coupling onto a 3-inch pipe without twisting it. It's just naturally what you're going to do. But you do want to get that so that that ABS cement really gets a good firm bond and it actually kind of melts both the pipe and your fitting. So before we do that, normally I do this with paper towel, but I'm out of paper towel. So we're going to use these rags. You want to make sure you have a nice, clean, and dry surface. So first thing I'm doing is just outside the pipe. Okay, outside the pipe. So I got a good, clean surface. Inside the pipe doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to do just a little bit at the edge, and I know this is disgusting, but I'm going to just wipe up a little bit there, mainly so it doesn't drip out while I'm using it. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it over here, and never touch it again. I actually have a trash bag right here that I'm going to throw it in. Okay, so we're going to get that side sorted. This side, same thing. I probably could have used the same one, but oh well. 20/20 hindsight. Get the outside nice and clean, and then this one's more important. This is sloped. This side is the high side, so this could actually leak out. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I get all my. The other thing I'm pulling out of making sure I'm pulling out all my ABS. I don't want that to go down into the sewer line. Probably would be fine. Not the worst thing that goes down a drain, but there we go. Okay, those are dry, ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a respirator, and I'll show you what we're doing here. All right, so we got that fitting in there. You saw I held it together for a while there. I wanted to really make sure it was well in there. And then I took a rag and I just cleaned it up. I just want to make sure there's no extra ABS on that pipe. Now, the issue with ABS, it's cheap. Well, not the issue. Yeah, ABS is cheap. It's in most homes. Cast iron, I would say, is a better product. The problem with ABS is I've glued this. If this leaks tomorrow, there's no fixing this. If this leaks tomorrow, I have to take out a chunk here, take out a chunk here. I have to put a coupling here, and then put a new fitting in here. It's not easy. You can't repair it, basically. So, hopefully, that's going to work tomorrow. Tomorrow, basically what will happen is we'll turn on the water, we'll test all our PEX fittings, and then I'll just run water and water and water and water down and put some towels under it and just basically see if I get any leaks out of it. All right, we're back under the house. It's been a couple hours. We flushed this toilet, I don't know, probably 20 times over the last 2 hours. Feeling out underneath it, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything on this side. I'm looking at my piece of plastic I put down. I see no water on it, so I think this is good to go. I'm also going to look up again at these. I'm going to make sure I don't have any leaks. I don't feel any water. I don't feel any water around any of these. This one actually feels hot, which is good. It means I actually have some hot water going through it. So now we're going to go back out to the garage and start getting everything hooked up out there. We need to drill a hole for a 2-inch ABS pipe to come out right here. A 2-inch ABS pipe is not 2 inches on the outside. Outside is 2 3/8, 2.375. So I have a 2.375 inch hole saw here, and we're going to cut a hole for that waistline to go out. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to take my 2-inch pipe and I want to make sure it fits. So it should be really tight, and it is, but that's perfect. Goes in really nicely. Boom. Very nice. All right, we're back in the crawl space. First thing I'm going to do, anytime I'm down here for the next few weeks probably, I'm going to check this waistline. I'm just going to make sure there's no evidence of any water coming out of that. I'm really anal about checking waistlines. Actually, any water lines. Anytime I come to the crawl space, I'm going to check any of my recent connections. All right? Okay, let's talk through the plan, because as soon as I start actually gluing ABS, I'm going to put a respirator on. So we have our connection that we made earlier. We're going to connect a 2-inch piece of ABS to this. This is going to come up. It's going to 90. So I have a 90 right here. It's going to 90 into this. We're then going to take this, and we're going to put this 2-inch by 2-inch by 1.5 inch right about there. That's going to be my vent off the top. Now it's really important, all this ABS piping needs to slope. This is clearly at a slight slope right now. We need a 1/4 inch per foot. So we want to make sure that this has a slope. 1/4 inch per foot is about this, going all the way back. Same with our vent piping, because everything that we're doing right now is below the flood level of our sink. Okay, so we're going to bring that 1.5 inch off. We're going to 90. Going to come across, come across, come across. Going to go all the way over here. And this is the 1.5 inch that's serving my floor drain right there. That's going out into the garage. So we're going to tee into this right about here. I have a couple 45s just to make sure that we get into it at a good angle. And then I have an 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch tee, and we'll connect directly into this. All right, so I went ahead and I mocked it up. So I have my 2-inch that comes up, makes the 90, sorry about that, and then goes out into the garage. I have my 1.5 inch that comes off. I actually decided to take this off at a 45, just to save a little bit. This was kind of a mess. I figured coming off at a 45, I come up here, have a 45. That vent line goes all the way over there. This also needs to be sloped, and so I do have a slight slope to this. It looks like it slightly bows in the middle, but I'll go ahead and put a bracket on that if that is the case. That side is definitely higher than this side. So once I get it all glued up, if it still looks like it has a little bow in the middle, I'll go ahead and add some support there. And then over here, we have our sanitary fitting here. Drainage is in the direction of the waste pipe. Could probably go either way there. That's connecting into my floor drain, and then that's connecting up. So I'm gonna go ahead and go and glue all of that. All right, that concludes waste piping for this slop sink. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Next week, we're gonna have a video drop all about this automatic faucet here, which should be a really fun install. Don't want anyone to miss it. Thanks for tuning in.